Welcome once again to Hope Center Online, a time for us to simply talk about faith. And today, in particular, I want to talk about time. It's an important topic, despite the fact that we all take it for granted. Since the earliest man, we have tried to measure it, to find a way to keep track of it. We organize our lives around time. We put a timestamp on the milestones of life, like our birthdays, our anniversaries, our special events, and our biggest accomplishments. And many people wear a timepiece, and a few of us are not far from a clock. We need to know the time so we do not miss any events, so we are not late for appointments, for work. We set the time to get up in the morning, and we worry about what time we go to sleep at night. And yet, time slips by. Every minute gone is lost forever. And time is recorded when we are born. And time is recorded when we die. You would think that we would treasure our time, but while we say those words, we don't really do anything about it. We say things like, "I'm just killing time," or "What you doing? Wasting time?" In truth, we have no respect for time. And more than that, time has no respect for us. Our time will come, and there is nothing that we can do about it. Or is there? We live in a world that doesn't even want to talk about our time here. And maybe that's because we're so poor at using our time. For example, we measure our lives day by day. We base our existence on a 24-hour cycle. We're willing to commit 8 hours a day to work. That's 1/3. And we realize that we need to reserve 8 more hours to sleep. And that leaves just 8 hours for the rest of our life. But that includes time getting to and from work. That includes time to eat and time to prepare our meals. And then there's cleanup after the meals. And, well, I can go on and on about how the time saved for our lives is used up before we get to live. How many hours are left to truly enjoy life, to truly do something fulfilling? The sad truth? Not very many. And maybe, just maybe, that's why artists paint or sculpt about time. Maybe that's why authors write about time. And maybe that's why singers produce songs about time. And maybe that's why I spent some time this week thinking about time, and in particular, a song by Jim Croce called "Time in a Bottle." Let's look at the lyrics for that song. It starts off, "If I could save time in a bottle, the first thing that I'd like to do is to save every day till eternity passes away, just to spend them with you." Croce wanted to spend time with someone clearly in love, we see in the course of that song. He wanted to make days last forever. And the song talked about wishes coming true. Wishes like saving every day like a treasure. But the song says there never seems to be enough time. Not enough to do the things you really and truly want to do. And Croce finishes the song with this: "I've looked around enough to know that you're the one I want to go through time with." And yet, nowhere in that song does he name that obviously special person. He doesn't tell us who is so important that he would like to keep time in a bottle, so that he can spend every day with that person and will never know. Jim Croce could not keep time in a bottle. He could not even live long enough to reach an average lifespan. Jim Croce was born January 10th, 1943, and he died when he was just 30 years old. That's right. He died in a plane crash on September 20th of 1973. He had time to become successful as a songwriter. He had time enough to write and record hit songs that made him, well, quite wealthy. Songs like Operator, You Don't Mess Around with Jim, Bad Bad, Leroy Brown, and of course, Time in a Bottle. That's just to name a few. Jim Croce had 30 years to make his mark, and it is his music that we remember. Music about love, a love so powerful he wanted to spend it with just one person forever. You know, Jesus Christ was 33 when he died. And like Jim Croce, Jesus had a very short career. And also like Jim Croce, Jesus made the point that he wanted to live into eternity with someone he loved. We don't know who Jim wanted to spend forever with, but we do know who Jesus wanted at his side for eternity. He wanted you. Jim's song is beautiful, but when you really listen, it is sad, terribly, terribly sad. Jim Croce wanted something so badly, but he realized it was not within his power. Jim couldn't make it happen, and not because of the plane crash, the crash which took his life far too early. Jim knew that time and his wishes were beyond his control. Meanwhile, Jesus spoke almost entirely of love, of its healing powers, its wonder, and its beauty. And for Jesus, time was entirely within his control. His death was no surprise to him. He gave his life willingly. It was part of his plan of salvation, a plan of eternity. God made us to be with him, and he made that plan of salvation, a plan of mercy, to forgive us of the sin that keeps us apart from him. We couldn't do it. Only God can do it. The next time you hear a grandfather clock so lovingly made, the next time you see a painting expressing love in its purest form, the next time you hear a love song, especially one that confesses our short-term limitations, think of Jesus. Think of Jesus and his loving offer of spending time together forever. Jim Croce reminds us that love, true love, is something that we long for, we yearn for. Love is inherent within us. It is a part of us, instilled in us when God made us in his likeness. That's why we sing love songs. That's why we beg for more time. That's why there are going to be longings within us, deep in our hearts, deep in our psyche, deep in our soul. Nothing other can explain it. No theory of evolution, no theory of a Big Bang, no immaculate accident. There is nothing to explain love and our desire to treasure it forever. Love comes from God. It's the love of God. And to grasp it and to hold it forever, that's his desire for you and for me. And all we have to do is ask. God is the inventor of time. He is the creator of the beginning, and he is the keeper of the end. Only he can offer love through eternity, and only his Son, Jesus, can open the way. Here's something else you should know. Our new Maritime Radio talk show is live this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Let's Talk is on a new network with 8 FM radio stations across the 3 maritime provinces, plus the internet station, 6 Rivers Radio, which you can hear on our website, hopecenter.ca or 6rivers.ca. Our guest today is the acclaimed author William Jefferson, who has a very stern warning about artificial intelligence. While AI can do some rather spectacular things, it can also do some very disturbing things to human relationships. Join the community conversation this afternoon at 3 o'clock. And meanwhile, I hope you'll join us again next Sunday at 11 Atlantic time for another message of faith. You'll find us on YouTube, Facebook, and especially on our website, hopecenter.ca. But for now, as in every week, I ask God to bless you here today and forevermore. Amen.